Libra Sun and Libra Rising, welcome here to the 2026 forecast. And 2026 for you is about many energies firmly settling down that have been coming in, creating a little bit of change, dynamism in your life. And 2026 for you is the beginning of a new 7-year cycle. We touched on this in last year's forecast. It's been a very important year, and this year continues to be the same. But my sense is that it's going to have more of a structure for you and feel as if you're really stepping up and you're finding what you want to be doing for this next 7-year cycle. Please note that this is a general forecast. If you're new here, it's for all Libra suns and all Libra rising. So take only what is applicable and helpful to your life. You need to remember also that this forecast is for all adults. So if you're just stepping out into the world in your late 20s, it's going to have a different application to if you're winding down and going into retirement, for example. So once again, use your intelligence, use your discretion, and make the astrology applicable to your life and to your chart. This is what it's all about. It's a symbolic language, and we need to apply it in a way that is helpful. So 2026 Libra, Saturn and Neptune are firmly stepping into Aries by late February. They're going to both be in place, and this is the start for you of something that you've been working on in 2025. Now that 7-year cycle is kicking in. If you are a Libra ascendant, this means that Saturn is coming above the horizon for you. Greater ambition, more dedication to put your shoulder to the wheel and achieve something. Ambition which might have been fast asleep for the last 7-year cycle. Do you remember the dynamic energies of late 2010 to late 2012? And this also applies to Libra suns. A lot of change, a lot of positive forward movement, a lot of dynamism. Now you're going to start feeling this again. Also for Libra suns, Saturn is creating an opposition to your sun at some point over the next 2 years. From early 2026 until early 2028, going to have this visit from Saturn, whether it's to your ascendant or your sun by opposition. It creates a dynamic force, encouraging you to step up, to step out. However, the year begins quietly because those two planets are back in Pisces, Saturn and Neptune, and you have a bit of a grace period. So until February, where you can get things finished up from last year so that when the year really gets going, you're fully activated, you're fully ready for something new. Other energies that you're going to experience, Libra, are for the first 6 months, the continued visit from Jupiter, planet of benevolence and expansion, that has been traveling through your career house or squaring your sun if you're a Libra sun. This energy has been, on the one hand, very beneficial for career, for work. You're more in the spotlight. You've been feeling this from July of 2025 and will be all the way until July of 2026. The other part of Jupiter traveling through this area may have been that projects that you were previously putting a lot of energy into, they can fall away because you're beginning to realize they're not exactly where you find your joy, and you could use your energies better elsewhere. So hopefully there's a discernment taking place of where you overdo or overgive, and realizing you might need to pull your energy back and channel it into one or two things that could really work for you and bring you that career fulfillment that you crave. Uranus is another planet we need to mention. It will be firmly moving into the air sign of Gemini in late April of 2026. And you've had a taste of that, of course, during 2025, because it's been traveling through that area of your chart for several months, from around July to November. And you get a chance to take a break December, January, February, March, and early April of 2026. It's back in Taurus. And then it's going to move firmly into Gemini and remain there until 2033. What does that mean for you, Libra? You're an air sign. Uranus is now in an air sign. If you Libra rising, it's in that part of your chart where you can really cultivate international connections, technology through work, travel for work, increasing spiritual life, and so on. And what is very special is that Pluto, the final outer planet that we need to mention, is now firmly in Aquarius. And that's in your solar 5th house of, creativity and leisure, joy. For those of you who have children, it's in that house too. And there's a beautiful air trine or triangle forming between those three air signs. You, Libra, so if you're a Libra sun, you're one corner of that triangle. If you're a Libra ascendant, that's the corner. And then we have Gemini and we have Pluto in the other two air signs. And when we have this feeling of support from those two outer planets, much can be achieved. Much. New ideas can be downloaded. New ideas can be put into manifestation. And there's a feeling of real progress that can come when you are working under this kind of energy, and you're going to be under it for a long time. Once 2026 is firmly underway, it's time to really follow your dreams. And many of you have been doing that in 2025. And there's been some difficulties around that because you've had to give up something in order to do what you know you should be doing. One thing I've learned is never to underestimate Libra Sun or Libra Rising. Many of you appear to be working quietly. There's not much going on, and then all of a sudden something great and brilliant comes out of you. And you really know how to channel the qualities of your ruler Venus. Many of you are artists or love music, or work in those fields which require design and harmony to come into the world. Others of you are good at law, you're good at business, you're good at transactional dealings, and there is no reason why those two energies cannot come together, and success can be found in integrating your love of harmony, beauty, aesthetics, art, and your ability to do business and to bring resources in through that. 2026, a strong year for Libra Sun and Libra Rising. Powerful energies in your sister sign Aries, which are forcing you to come into greater balance and to put yourself out into the world in a new way. And then the harmonious energies from Jupiter, from Uranus, from Pluto, encouraging you to bring those ideas into manifestation. And this is because Jupiter will be moving into Leo around July 1st and remain there for a full 12 months. And that's in a place for you where you can manifest, you can work with groups, you can work with others to bring the dreams, the visions, the ideals. And there will be a single retrograde this year from Venus. Happens once every 18 months or so. This will be near the end of the year, October, November. It's going to take place in your sign and in Scorpio. So we'll talk a little bit more about that when we go month by month. But I'm seeing this, when I look at all the factors considered together, as a time where money could actually come into you during this retrograde. But it's not from new work. It's money coming in from you repurposing old work, or bringing old work, old ideas, old themes, old lessons, old businesses, whatever you've got from the past, redesigning it, refabricating it, putting it out in a new way into the world. You can earn money from that. Or I see money coming in unexpected ways. One final thing I wanted to mention to you, Libra, is that you love to give back. Many of you work in community, or you feel that you are called to do some kind of work that gives back. So with Neptune moving firmly into Aries, you're going to have opportunities to do this. It's going to be there for a long time, until the 2040s. So there's no rush. Many of you are in service-related professions. You're trying to find your way, and you will be helped, because we're going to have Saturn and Neptune come together in a conjunction, and this will be in a powerful cardinal place for you. And that is going to bring structure, Saturn with Neptune, vision, dreams, ideals. And I know many of you have been asking, what is the next step for me? I'm ready for change. I'm ready for a new career or a shift. I want to give more back to the world. I want to figure it out. And you will be helped in 2026. And sometimes it's hard to make these yearly forecasts because the year feels too short. We're talking of long time frames now. You know, Uranus will be in Gemini until 2033. Saturn has a 2-year visit through Aries. Pluto is going to be in Aquarius until the 2040s. So these are long-term cycles that will be activating you and helping you. January begins with some kind of give and take between home and work. A lot of energy in the house of the home, the father, roots. Some of you might be having parents or children coming to stay. Some of you might be visiting parents over this season. Regardless, you do need to work a bit, or you are being torn a little bit because you have some pressures that need to be fulfilled, some responsibilities out in the world. And that's fine. Saturn is in your 6th house as the year gets underway. So there is a sense of routine and duty, of things that need to be finished off from last year. So don't worry too much about it. You're good at balancing things. And I see you able to enjoy family time or friends time. Possibly some of you are single. You may be hanging out with good friends over this period, but you're still juggling with work and you're finding the balance. The full moon of the year, the very first one, is in your house of work. So something might come to fruition around January 3rd, give or take a day on either side. And it can also be a nurturing time. You know, maybe there's a positive energy coming from work, and at the same time you're spending good time with family. Venus and Mars are both out of bounds as the year gets underway, just for the first 3 or 4 days of January. And it affects you because you are Venus ruled. And Mars is also out of bounds. It can raise a lot of energy to the surface. We know that Mars rules action and passion and friction. So use that energy wisely. You will have energy if you have things to do. And the only consideration is be mindful of how you relate to others. Could be a lot of tension if you're not able to manage your energy well. So I'm going to recommend you don't give up your regular routines over the holidays. You know, go to your exercise class or go for your run, play that tennis game, whatever you like to do, and keep the normal flow going. I do see you returning fully back into routine, back to work, whatever your appropriate cycle is, only after the new moon, which is on the 17th of January. And that's in that place of the home, but it could also represent new beginnings. Something's ended, something's over, and something new is beginning for you. It's a good time to look for a new job. Remember that Jupiter is in Cancer now, able to produce, able to nourish, and it's in a strong relationship to your sun or your ascendant. Also at this time we have Neptune right at the end of January moving firmly into Aries. So that's important, Libra. Take that, it's around the 25th of January. Take that as a time of adjustment. Good time to meditate. What are your ideals? What is your vision? How can you be more altruistic and put the caring that you feel for others into practical application? February, there's a lot of energy, Libra, and I see you able to navigate carefully between being very active and knowing when it's time to rest, to take it easy. Eclipse season is beginning, and then we have a couple of momentous global events which will also, of course, impact each of us on an individual level. And the month begins with a beautiful full moon in Leo. So that's a time to celebrate with loved ones, and it's in a harmonious place for you. You're hopefully feeling good, and you can let your spirit out for a little bit and feast and celebrate. After that, there's a period of working hard, but then preparing for a week between approximately February 14th, and this could go all the way until the end of the month, really, where there are a lot of intense happenings. And they may pass you by, but it's good to be aware that you want to hold energy at this time. You want to not overschedule yourself. You want to have quiet time. New moon solar eclipse will be on the 17th of February, give or take a day on either side. And that's happening in the place that has to do with creative projects, with children if you have any, with leisure time, with speculation. Some of you are day traders. So there could be a lot of activity around that area of your chart if you do dabble in that. So take care that before the eclipse you may not have all the information you need. Good to hold off on financial decisions. Children might be pressuring you for decisions. Try to be at ease and tell them you'll deal with it in good time. Whatever the case, it's always best to hold the energy and not to spill it out. After that new moon eclipse, we are going to have Saturn and Neptune coming together by conjunction, and that will take place on February the 20th, give or take a day on either side. We spoke about it in the introduction, and it's taking place at a point which wants to come forward onto the world stage. So there might be big adjustments on a global level. Some things may fall away so that others can take their place. And for us personally, we can harness that energy in a way where we can put our dreams forward. Just after that, Mercury at the end of February will station retrograde. And I see this as a very productive time for you, Libra. So the retrograde will run from late February for about 3 weeks into March. You can really get a lot done at work. It's taking place in the area of your chart that has to do with daily grind, with getting things done. And there is the huge ability to focus. So in spite of all these adjustments, you can buckle down and get stuff done. March is a wonderful month to get the health care routine back on track. If in any way it has fallen away or you've become lazy and neglected some things, this is a great time because Mars and the Sun are now in a place of the zodiac which are calling you to take care of things, take care of your daily routine, take care of your body, eat healthily, and don't neglect things simply because you're so busy at work. We do have the second eclipse on March 3rd. It's in a quiet place of your chart. It's in the sign of Virgo. So hidden things could come to light for you. The best way for you to use this eclipse would be to clear out, to tidy out, to get organized. Some of you, Libra, tend to be hoarders, or you're very interested in how things work. So when something breaks, you don't throw it away. You think you'll return to it, and things can build up around the home. So a very good way to begin March, if you have any spare time, would be clearing out, getting rid of, letting go of things that you no longer need and that you really are not going to return to. Or if you really have a desire to fix that grandfather clock, this is the time to see to that. So yes, in spite of all the energy that is in this house of work and health, there's some very positive energy building in terms of relationships. So for those of you that are looking for a new relationship, I'm seeing a lot of positive vibrations around the 7th of the month. There's a beautiful grouping of planets in your relationship house. And in general, with Saturn moving through the sign for the next 2 years of Aries, you, Libra, have the potential to get married. So if you've been living with someone for a long time, possibly you're going to tie the knot now, maybe this year or next year. And if you've been looking for a long-term relationship but have been single for many, many years, this might be the time where someone new comes into your life and it's serious, and you know it's serious and you feel good about it. The other energies for March will of course be the moon, which will take place in Pisces, in that place of daily work, getting the routine in order, shining a light on your health and how you are taking care of that. So I invite you to be patient until that Mercury moves forward after the 20th and things start to really get going for you. We will also have had Jupiter moving forward around the 10th of March, which is going to be a wonderful adjustment for all of us. For you, it's taking place in that career house, so we could see either new contracts coming in or some kind of good energy coming into the work or into the home. But regardless of what comes in, that 10th of the month, that could be a good time to just take the day lightly, not to overschedule the calendar, because that's a big move and all of us will feel it. And of course, the month ends on a positive note. We've now got Mercury moving forward. You've dealt with things, you've set your routine on track. You're back in the game with regards to those small things that we do every day which keep us healthy. April begins with a full moon once again on the 1st of the month. It's your full moon in Libra, and most of the month sees a tension or a balancing act taking place between you and somebody else. You and the world, you and your spouse, you and your partner. Figure out, apply it to your own life, but there's going to be a lot of give and take required. So that full moon highlighting something coming to fruition in your own life that you've been working on most likely since your birthday of 2025. And I see you now having a reward cycle and feeling good about this. For the first 10 days or so of April, Mars will still be traveling through your place of work, your place of physical adjustments. So remember to continue to take care of yourself and to, yes, you can work hard, but you need to always make sure you moderate, get a good night's sleep, and don't overdo it. Then after the 10th, it's going to be firmly in your house of partnership. Mars traveling through Aries, it's very strong there. It can really activate and bring you vitality as well, help you to achieve your goals. And the rest of the month sees routine business taking place all the way until the new moon, where we're building to a friction or a tension that can occur between moving forward with things and holding back. So if there are some delays that you're experiencing at this time, that's okay. They're going to work themselves out by around the 25th of April or so. So be patient. You might feel this energy straight after the full moon on the 1st, which is a very powerful full moon, not only because it's in your sign Libra, but because we've got a lot of tension between cardinal signs. So we've got the moon in Libra, we've got Jupiter in Cancer, and we've got Saturn in Aries. And this can propel us to really examine our purpose. Do we feel that we're on track with regards to our job? Do we feel we're on track with regards to our relationships? So a little bit of soul searching there, or things coming into the light. And you may work through these all of April, because that new moon is again on the 17th in the house of partnership. New moon in Aries. Other events for April will of course be that move of Uranus into Gemini that will take place around the 25th of the month. And that's important because for the first few months of 2026, Uranus has been in your house of finances, other people's finances, joint finances, having to figure things out. And you're going to feel that shift once May gets underway and Uranus is firmly in your house of travel, expansion, studies, astrology. You're going to feel some kind of release, some kind of freedom, some kind of ability to now expand in this area. The month of May is a very exciting time for you, Libras, because Venus, your ruling planet, will be out of bounds from May 4th until June 7th. What does this mean? Venus is operating at an extra strong frequency. So this is taking place in your house of work as well as partly in your house of travel or internationalism. So apply this to your life. It might simply, that house might mean how you work with people from foreign countries. Regardless, this energy is best used wisely. If it's just allowed to spill out, it can tend towards obsessive relating or getting caught up in relationships which are unhealthy, over-relating in a way. But the positive side can be enormous productivity in your work. So if you are an artist or a designer or someone who works in the aesthetics world in any way, these are fields that are Venus ruled. You can channel this energy into producing good work during this time. If you are involved in the legal field or in humanitarian endeavors or in service industries, you can channel this strong Venus energy into how you relate to others and resolve conflict. One of your specialities, Libra. Using the energy not to increase conflict but to solve it. Very powerful at this time. If you are in business or finance, this can be a time to make a lot of money. If you are cautious and you're able to channel that energy wisely, the money axis of your chart is activated regardless of what you do for a living. We've got the Sun traveling through a house of finances. Mars will be there. And then we've got new and full moons in those two houses, the two resource houses. So use them wisely. Let me give you those dates. The full moon will take place on the 1st. That's in the Scorpio house. Powerful energy, something coming to fullness. Keep an eye on partners' finances at this time. They might need your help with something. Then we get the Venus moving out of bounds around the 4th of the month. So be aware of that. See if you can feel an energy adjustment. What shifts for you? And then the new moon, which will be on the 17th, that's going to be in Taurus, a good time to reevaluate the budget, the spending, what's going on, how are the investments doing, how is your paycheck doing, in whatever case it applies to you. Remember, there are a range of possibilities here, but a very good time for a reset and also for a self-worth reset. Because when Venus is out of bounds, we can have a makeover, feel good. We can do something that makes us feel great. There's a second full moon at the end of the month, which is unusual, right? To have 2 full moons in 1 month. And that's going to take place in an area of your chart which has to do with communications, as well as potential short journeys or siblings. So maybe you're going to visit a brother or a sister, maybe they're coming to you, or if your work is involved with communication, something could be coming to fullness at this time, a presentation that you have to give, or a lesson that you're writing publishing, putting it out there. And as the month ends, it sets the tone for the following month, which is a lot about travel and communication. So let's take a look at that. June certainly sees huge travel potential, especially to go somewhere far, somewhere new, and somewhere very exciting, Libra. So if you're listening to this in advance, you have the potential to plan a trip at this time. The one caveat is that we need to be extra careful when we travel, because we've got two planets coming together in the sky, which can cause a lot of friction. So we want to allow extra time. This is not a reason not to travel, but it's simply to say, be cautious at this time and don't rush about. So the month of June begins with the sun traveling through that place of expansion, going to a new place or studying something new, or simply feeling really good about things when the sun enters this place for you. Mars is still in the place of finances for most of the month, so be aware that you might be dealing with that. You might be dealing with inheritance issues or taxation issues or something that is kind of a leftover from April and May. But by the end of the month, Mars also shifts into the travel, expansion, religious house. So maybe you're traveling for a spiritual reason, or you're just simply studying something new which really elevates and lightens the mind. The new moon will be in the sign of Gemini on the 14th, and that's again in that place where you are setting off on a journey or starting something new with that regard. The full moon is right at the end of the month in the house of home, family, roots, parents. So while you might be traveling, there's a sense that by the end of the month you could be coming home, settling down, dealing with family. And that's when that Mars-Uranus conjunction forms, and Mercury also moves retrograde at the end of the month. So that's when we want to be cautious about traveling, rushing about, and so on. And you're preparing for another Mercury retrograde now, so it's always good to allow space in your calendar. July begins with that move of Jupiter into Leo, and this is important for everyone. Very important for you because it's moving into a house which has to do with your hopes and your dreams. Better able to manifest them now and able to receive some kind of feedback for the work that you've been putting in over the last 12 years. Let's look a little bit more closely at this. As the month begins, there's that big shift of Jupiter into a new sign. It's an adjustment. Where do you find your joy? You might realize that you need to bring something else into your life besides work, because work is also very prominent at this time. Your ruling planet Venus is in Virgo, so she's in a quieter place where she's asking you to reflect, and yet there are a lot of energies that are also pulling you outward. So July will be very, very interesting. How do you balance these tensions again between doing work and earning money and doing work that you love? This is a recurring theme throughout the year. What's going to be building once Jupiter moves into Leo is an opposition between Jupiter and Pluto. So we've got Jupiter now in Leo, fixed sign, and Pluto's in Aquarius, firmly. And that's happening in a place for you which has to do with this manifesting joy, feeling loved, being able to make money from creative pursuits. and really finding greater joy in life. If you have children, they're coming in the spotlight. They may have great achievements this year, because that Jupiter-Pluto combination is known for its dynamism. You get to move things forward now. The universe never gives us a green light all around, because Mercury is still retrograde. So you are dealing with old projects, you are finishing up things, you may be seeing old acquaintances, but at the same time there's this aspect forming in the sky which is wanting to propel you forward into a new space. And because the new and the full moons are taking place in this creative area of your life, I see you being able to really move forward. If you're in an aesthetic field, you're going to move forward with that. These houses also have to do with pleasure and leisure and how we can find joy. New moon is on the 14th. That's in your place of work or public. If you don't work, if you're retired, or if you're out of a job, something good can come in there. Maybe you're dealing with a parent at this time. But it's a great time to set intentions around work projects or simply around self-care, because Cancer is the sign of nurturing. Mercury will move direct on the 23rd, and you can wait till that energy picks up speed a little bit, things get going again. And at the end of the month, around the 29th, we're going to have the full moon in the sign of Aquarius. Air sign just like you, so you're going to feel that flow, feel that energy. If you have children, it's in your house of children. You may be spending time with them. They may be coming home if they're older children, or they may be in the spotlight if they're younger children. Also, creative projects are in the loop now. And just at that full moon, or a day or so before, the North Node is going to move permanently into Aquarius. That's the North Node of the moon, and for you it's going to signify a long period of having this area of your chart emphasized. So that's children. So if you are trying to get pregnant or have children, this could happen over the next year. Artistic endeavors emphasized, connecting with people who can help you in this regard. Simply feeling loved, connecting deeply with a sense of well-being and with people that you feel as if you have something in common that goes beyond the ordinary. A karmic connection. New lovers, if you're single, finding someone to share time with, allowing yourself more time to relax, taking up a new sport, badminton, table tennis, something that you can do with others and that brings you joy. August brings opportunities to travel, especially in the first 10 days, while Mars, our action planet, is traveling through that area. After the 10th of August, Mars is going to move into the place to do with parents, work, public image, and so on. So a real opportunity to juggle work and travel, or work and leisure at this time. With Uranus firmly in your 9th house now, Libra, your 9th solar house, you're going to feel also more desire for a spiritual life. Something could be calling you, and you're invited to listen to this. The other thing we need to note for August is that around the 7th of the month, your ruling planet Venus will be moving into your sign. And this is always a wonderful time because Venus is at home in Libra. And you should be feeling at your best. I do want you to start to take careful note though of what happens. Because as Venus travels through Libra, She's eventually going to get to Scorpio, but then she's going to retrograde back into the end part of Libra. So you want to be aware at any themes that are developing, as these might come back to you to be worked on. August 10th is also a very special day. We've got a beautiful geometric pattern forming between air and fire signs. So enjoy that feeling. You're going to feel something. We're also building towards a solar eclipse on the 11th. Remember that an eclipse doesn't always have to be negative. The only thing I suggest is not making major decisions before the eclipse. Most of you know that by now. The one caution is that Mars will be switching into a new sign, and when Mars switches into Cancer, this energy tends to come forward onto the world stage. So we want to be very mindful of not getting sucked into things and simply going about our business. That Mars is going to be squaring your Sun if you're a Libra Sun, or squaring your Ascendant if you're a Libra Ascendant. So, excuse me. So it's a time to be extra mindful, not to rush about. You know the score by now. The final eclipse of the year will be at the full moon on the 28th of August, and that's taking place in Pisces. So this again is an area where you have to take care of your routine, see that you're not working too hard, and use that full moon as an adjustment time, getting back on track, resting extra if you need to, and simply reassessing what is coming to fullness in this department. This is a great time to adjust that daily routine. Once again, simply do a health checkup, and is everything on track? That's great. Take a day of rest, move forward. September contains a very interesting new moon for you, Libra. So the month begins and the sun is in that quiet place of your chart. It's in Virgo. This is the month before your birthday energy comes in. That will be around the 24th of the month when the sun enters into Libra. If you're a Libra sun, if you're a Libra ascendant, the sun is coming into your ascendant, bringing vitality, bringing life. So you may be feeling a little less vital those 3 weeks before your birthday. And then this interesting new moon around the 10th of the month. New moon in Virgo, in that hidden place where you deal with things quietly, things from the subconscious, things that are possibly not out in the open, things to do with family. You do have Mars in your 10th place the whole month, so that could be a parent or something to do with work is very prominent. And then on that new moon, both your ruling planet Venus and Mercury, the planet of communication and mindset, are going to switch signs. So that's a really big adjustment. And you want to make sure that you're prepared for that in the way that you don't overschedule and you're mindful of the energy shifts. Mercury is moving into your sign, into Libra, and when it enters into Libra, it's very prominent. Things may come forward on the world stage. You may be able to get your message out, but be cautious of what that message is or of how you relate to those you care about, because Venus, your ruling planet, is moving out of Libra and into Scorpio, where relating becomes very intense, very deep, and there can be a sting to that relating. So we really need to be attentive and together. The positive thing is that the moon is now beginning to wax and to build in light, and you are moving towards your birthday month. And then the sun will come into Libra on the 24th. And just after that, there's a full moon in Aries, your house of partnership. You're stepping out, feeling good, feeling energized, and everything seems to come out into the open then and into the light. October sees the action planet traveling through our house of groups and group endeavors. So you might be celebrating something with a group that you've been a member of for years. You might be finding new groups or putting your energy into that. But behind the scenes from October 3rd, Venus moves retrograde. This is happening in Scorpio. We spoke about it in the introduction. And she'll move back into Libra and only move direct on November 15th, give or take a day on either side. So we want to be mindful now of conserving energy, and we spoke of repurposing things. So not the time to initiate things at work. It's time to go back to the drawing board, rework, especially after the 24th of October, when Mercury is also going to move retrograde in that same sign of Scorpio. So this is your money house, and you want to be able to focus on earning at this time. Focus on whether it's money coming in from work, coming in from retirement, coming in through marriage, coming in through divorce. What I'm seeing is a lot of energy around that axis, and it needs your attention. So with the Venus retrograde, we have to be very mindful. If you are having relationship difficulties at this time, please do not rush to get a separation, to move out, to get a divorce. The retrograde will pass very quickly. It's bringing up stuff to be seen, and hopefully you can use it wisely and clear things out so that when the planets move forward again, the relationship is on a really good footing. Also, please don't be afraid of a Venus retrograde. It's a lawful time. Think about it. It's happening every 18 months or so. We get a chance to reassess. And of course, it's happening on a global level. It does affect things. Venus can be a very warlike planet in certain of her incarnations. So we do have to be mindful when we have this kind of planetary happening. After the Mercury retrograde move on the 24th, we'll have a full moon on the 26th, and that will be in Taurus, your money house. So you can see there's a theme developing here, right? And I'm hoping that this is a good time for you in terms of finances, that money coming in from old projects or money you expected not to see because you let go of it. This could be the time that it really comes back in. The last thing I want to mention for October is that right in the middle of the month, around the 15th, we'll have Pluto stationing direct. So Pluto's been retrograde for a while. What does this mean? It just means it's a day of adjustment for us. We want to lay low, we want to take it easy, we want to put our feet up. November has a new moon around the 9th in Scorpio, and this is a very deep new moon for you. So I'm going to encourage, if you meditate, this would be a good time to put extra effort in. Take time alone. If you walk in nature, this is a wonderful time to process. The new moons in Scorpio, Venus and Mercury are retrograde, and I feel the energy is turning inwards. You're soul searching, you're examining things, and you're planning your next move. Then around the 14th, the 15th, the energy really shifts. Both Mercury and Venus move forward on the same day. that's a day of adjustment. So don't rush out and start to do things. You might be getting your pace adjusted and back into a routine, feeling better, feeling more positive. And maybe you had a good retrograde season. You managed to make money, put your head down, and not worry about the various emotional undercurrents that are taking place around you. Remember that when we are on a spiritual path, and astrology can really help us with this, we are asked not to react, not to be attached to the outcome of events. And this is also so true when we have heavy or dark periods or moods that come upon us. They happen to everyone at some point in their lives, and we are moody people by nature. This is shown in astrology by the moon. The moon waxes and wanes just like our moods wax and wane. There is no person on this planet who wakes up every day feeling equally good, or equally bad for that matter. So what the spiritual way of living asks us to do is to shine that light of our sun no matter what the moon is doing, no matter what mood your moon is in, or how the moon is affecting you. There's a core energy that can pulse with a certain steady vibration, and that's not attached to the comings and goings of the moon, and also to all the other planets. So one can go through so-called challenging planetary alignments and feel steady and feel absolutely fine, because you are committed to this path of staying on track and of standing in the center of your chart. On the 24th of the month, we're going to have a full moon in Gemini, and that's a very positive moon for you. Everything seems to be coming together now. There's flowing energy in your life, and there's a deep sense of relaxation. There could be a lot of changes or shifts at this full moon, because it's closely related to Uranus, that planet of awakening, that planet of change, and that planet which always seems to suddenly turn things on their head. So be open. If you are traveling at this time, be open to anything, because Uranus can bring unexpected changes. And the best way to manage that energy is simply to, once again, not react, not be attached to the outcome. If you have to arrive somewhere a day late and that makes it safe, give thanks that someone picked up an issue and that you're traveling at the right time. Because if you are living life according to astrology, everything happens at the right time. And we are here under forces that we don't understand. So part of our journey is learning humility. Humility to the fact that we are not in control, and that there are millions of factors in every single moment of our lives that are affecting us, the outcome, the environment. So all we can do is surrender. And there's a lot of communication or travel energy for December. Once again, getting the message out. Some of you are teachers. Real emphasis, especially in the first 3 weeks of December, on learning, on education. Maybe you're doing some further studies, or you're getting your application form in for that. There's action, for example, around the new moon on the 8th. That's going to be in that house of learning, communication, short journeys, neighbors. So it's a good time to focus on those things, and also to be aware that the action planet Mars is currently in a quieter place in your chart. It's traveling through Virgo. And when 2027 gets underway, Mars will retrograde back in Virgo. So do pay attention to what's happening behind the scenes for you during the month of December. There are more adjustments in the middle of the month when Saturn and Neptune move direct after being retrograde. That's in your 7th house. So the partner might get an emphasis at that time. Or if you're single, once again, relationships could come in the spotlight. And our benefactor planet, Jupiter, is going to move retrograde also in the middle of the month, allowing us to kick back a little bit and to put our feet up. And the year will end for you with a full moon in Cancer. And this is where the year started. That's around the 23rd of December. It's a nurturing full moon. Cancer is about having people with you and sharing good food, comfort with them, feeling secure. So I wish that for you, Libra. It could also bring up energy around work as well as the home. So make some space for that. And there's a lot of flow now between those two. I see things more in balance. And because we've got all this background energy, this golden trine or triangle happening repeatedly from May onwards in your sign, in air signs, there's a flow. You're understanding what it's all about now. So I wish you all that is good. Post me a comment if you found something helpful here, and I will see you next time.